Hello everyone, dear students. Today we will talk about how to use SPSS. And before that, we must understand few fundamental things, few concepts about SPSS, what it is, when it was started, and why it is so popular. So in the year 1968, SPSS started as a company, it was a subsidiary of IBM, and it started developing statistical softwares meant for social scientists. So the name came from that statistical package for social sciences. And it was so popular that in the year 2009, IBM took over its subsidiary, SPSS. And now since 2009, the name, we no longer use the name statistical package for social science. We just use SPSS as a name, as a noun. So since then, since 1968, SPSS has been useful to social scientists, to management scientists, and to various other researchers, those who deal with primary data, as well as to some extent secondary data. So if SPSS is popular, then why it is popular? Is it the only software available to the researchers to analyze data? The answer is no. SPSS is just one of the softwares. The other softwares can be Stata, other softwares like Systat. These are licensed softwares. And contrary, there are some open source softwares like R, JASP, Jamovi, etc. So why SPSS is most popular among these softwares? There are primarily three reasons. First is it is most user-friendly, since it is based on a point and click interface. It gives a point and click interface to the users. If you go, it's a menu driven. If you go, there are menu for all the functions, all the activities. You go follow the menus, right? It will guide you to do analysis. But for that, you have to have basic understanding of different statistical methods. Why you want to do a particular statistical analysis? Why not others? Second advantage of SPSS is that it provides unlimited rows and columns. It can accommodate 2 billion rows and columns. Practically, this is unlimited for any social scientist. Second, it has in its package various statistical softwares, and with every version of it, SPSS is evolving and it is including more and more statistical techniques. So now we will see how it looks, how to create data, how to enter data in an SPSS software. So for that, what we need to do, we need to go to our home menu, then click on SPSS, IBM SPSS Statistic 26. The version we will be using here is 26. So it will take little time. That depends on your system. So once you double click or open the SPSS software, you'll find this welcome to IBM SPSS Statistics window. So here you can click on new data set. As we are doing it for the first time, we will be entering some data, creating data file. So we'll be selecting new data set. So click here and press enter. So this is the window of SPSS, right? So if you look closely towards the bottom left, you find two buttons. These are two views of SPSS window. First one is data view and the second one is variable. So what are these views? We will look into it in detail. So first, click on the data view. When you click on the data view, you find rows and columns, and rows are named as var. It indicates these are your variables. So if you have 10 variables, so you will occupy 10 columns on this data view sheet, right? And these numbers or the row numbers are your cases. Means suppose you collect data from 100 participants or 100 respondents. So these respondents will be listed from 1 through 100 rows. So your variables will be placed in the columns, and your cases or the respondents or your participants will be placed in rows. So this is about the data view. Then click on variable view. What is variable? So here you see on the column there are few names written like name, type, width, decimal, label, values missing, columns align, measure and role, and on the rows there are numbers. So what are this variable view? So in the data view, we talked about we can include practically 2 billion variables, right? And 2 billion responses or participants or cases. In the variable view, we will have to write what that variable, each variable is. Each variable is. For example, we will use a student data. We'll create a student database. So what we will do, we will what can be the first variable in a student data? The first variable can be serial number, maybe roll number, right? Roll number, right? Roll number. One important thing you remember, whenever you type variable name, SPSS doesn't take any illegal character. So what are the illegal characters here? Illegal characters are space. So in SPSS, the variable name cannot contain space and cannot start with numerics. It always has to start with alphabets, right? So we will write like roll number, right? This is all right. So once we clicked on the second row, the other columns have been populated, right? We'll deal with each of them in detail. So the variable name we understood is the first variable name is roll number. Suppose in a college there are 300 students, so their roll numbers would vary. No two students will have the same roll number. So it's a variable for the student. The second variable can be their name. Another variable can be their gender. There are female students, there are male students, right? Still another variable can be their age. All right. Then there can be course, in which course they are studying currently, right? This is another variable because there are there can be in a management college, there can be MBA students, there can be PGDM students, there can be MHRM students, right? Another variable can be graduation discipline. Some students, no, it will not take any space. So legal character, I have to remove that. Graduation discipline. Graduation discipline can be their graduation background. Students when come to do some postgraduate management program, they can come. They can be from arts background. They can be from commerce, science, BBA, BCA, or medicine background, or any other discipline. Next can be their graduation percentage. Graduation percentage. Next can be their CAT score. This is a variable, or MAT score. This is still another variable. Then if they have taken admission into the management course, then another variable can be there, specialization. Specialization can be HR, finance, marketing, operations, business analytics. All right. And we can other variables. We can also include other variables like GD score. They have joined some rigorous admission process like GD and PI. So we have included their GD score and PI score. Okay. And we, after they have taken admission, we have surveyed them and to find out their motivation to do management course, right? Motivation to do management course. So in this particular example, we have 13 variables. So we now will go to the data view. We will see the 13 columns have been populated. 13 columns have been populated. Okay. So it is always advisable to keep the name of the variable short so that it is better and you can see more variables in one window without moving to the other portion of the sheet. So here we have entered 13 variables. So in the data view, you can see that 13 columns have been populated. So here, what we can do, we can enter data. We can enter data now. So this. We have created a data file, right? If you are doing a survey, we can create a data file here and we can enter the data right now. So we will just enter few data. So roll number can be 123 M. Okay. So before entering the data here, we need to check the variable view. Why data we are not able to enter the data. First, look at this first variable, that is roll number. Then come to the type. What type of data it will accept, right? That we have to fix. So what is mentioned here? Numeric. So it will only accept numeric values, not alphabets, not special characters, nothing else, only numbers. So if you will write 1, 2, 3, 4, then it will accept. See, this is accepted 1, 2, 3. But we wanted to add some alphabets with that, so it didn't accept. So what we can do, we will just click on this numeric, right, to see what are the different types of data SPSS can handle or will accept. So there are a range of data types or variable type, right? So first one is numeric. This is the default. And second one is comma separated. Third one is dot. If you have some scientific notations, that also can be included. Date, monetary terms, currency. Default is dollar. We can change the currency here by clicking custom currency. Then string. If you select string, string means alphanumeric, right? So if you want to add alphanumeric values, we can add here now. It will receive alphanumeric. 1, 2, 3 M. The roll number of the first student we have surveyed is 123 M. Management, whatever it is, right? So once you have selected the data type as string, you can see the A will appear with the variable name, the symbol and A. A indicates the data format is or data type is string, alphanumeric. All right. So similarly, we can include two other roll numbers. Okay. So Suppose we have included data for 5 students. Okay, 5 students. The roll number we have entered. Next, what we need to enter? We need to enter name. So name cannot be numeric, right? So this is obvious. So we have to select string. So what we need to do now? We can enter the names manually, right? So Vishnu, then Aswin, Justin, Giles, Wilson. So these are the names of the students we can enter. Next, go to the variable view and see what is the third variable we have to enter. So third variable is gender. So can gender be numeric? No, gender cannot be numeric. But numeric, it can be converted later, but first we will enter the gender variable as string variable. What we'll write? So Vishnu is male, Aswin is male, Justin is female, Giles is male. All right, so we have little less representation of female, so we will create some other all right, Tracy. All right, so we have included two other field, two other case. Next, move to the other variable, that is age. So age is obviously always numeric, right? So we can include age like 21, 22, 20, 23, 22, 21, 22. So we have included age. Now the next is course, right? So go to the variable view. The course is numeric. It cannot be numeric because in the course we mean to which course they have been admitted to, right? So this has to be the responses can be MBA, this responses can be MHRM or PGDM. So we will select the string type and we'll move the data view to enter data. It can be MBA, PGDM, MHRM, MBA, PGDM. So we have included into which course these 7 students have been admitted to in a particular business school, right? Then their graduation discipline. Go to the variable view, the graduation discipline. Graduation discipline can again be string. All right, then select arts, science, commerce, right? Then medicine, science, arts, and science. So these students have come from this graduation disciplines. All right, then their graduation percentage. The percentage can only be in numeric. It cannot be in string. So we'll just write down, enter the percentage: 76, 78, 81, 85, 90, 87, 88, right? Then CAT score. So CAT score are user in percentile. So these are good students. So the percentile can be 92, 93, 90, 91, 92 again, 94, 95, right? Okay, we also have MAT score. So if they have attended the appeared the MAT also, they can have mat score, or else they can have, some of them have not appeared the cat, they have only appeared the mat. So what we can enter there, we can enter 0 there in the cat score, and we can enter their mat score like it's between 200 to 800. So we can include like 740 is a good score, then 788 it's a good score, and the rest can be 0 because they have not appeared mat. They have not appeared mat. These two individual appeared mat. Then what specialization they want to have this management program. So there we can select on the data type and click on the string again, because this should be string, because we have to write HR, right? Marketing, all right. Marketing. Why it is not taking? There is. So we have to come to this width. So width is 8. So it means we can include 8 characters. So we can increase it, right? With 20. So now we can write more. Marketing, right? Then operations, student finance specialization, right? Business analytics, HR again, and marketing. Okay, so we have entered their specialization. Then similarly, we can include GD score, PI score, motivation. So what happens in, so we have included, entered some data, then go to the variable view. So now you understand what is the meaning of this first row, that is name. This is the name of the variable. Second column, type, indicates what type of data you are going to enter under each variable, right? So for example, roll number can be string if it includes both alphabets and numerics. Name can always be string. Gender will be string. Age, because we wrote exact age in number, so it would be numeric. Course, alphabets. Graduation discipline, alphabets, right? Graduation percentage, numeric. CAT score, MAT score, percentage. Specialization, string. GDPI score, they will be again numbers. So next come to the third column, that is width. What width is? Width is how many words or how many characters you want to enter into each variable. So here you saw that we were not able to enter in ing g after marketing, right? Because the characters were chosen as 8. Suppose this is 8 now. I will delete. I will just decrease it to 10 again. You will see the difference now. See. Okay, 10. Only business is there. We all actually wrote business analytics. So it will not take because we have reduced the width of this variable. So in order to write the full business analytics, we will increase the width of this particular variable. Now we can write analytics because it can accommodate up to 20 width. So you can increase it like anything, right? If you want to write a paragraph, right? Yeah, you have done some qualitative interview, you have transcribed those, and you want to enter into this cells, so you can increase the width of this variable, right? Then come to the fourth column that indicates decimal, right? So here, most of the numeric data, you can see that everything is written in decimals, right? Two decimal, because here we have selected, or by default it has taken 2 decimals. So what we can do, wherever the numeric data is there, we can, if you want, we can include numeric data, or else we can reduce the decimal point. We don't want decimals. We will just make it 0. We'll ensure it. This is 0. So whenever we did add data, so we can add that if we want, or else we can put that to 0. So we don't need any decimal point, right? Suppose any percentage is in decimal. So what we can do, we can add graduation percentage, add to decimal. So some student has secured, suppose 76.55% percentage, right? So in that case, we can make use of this decimal. 45, 81.45%, 90.78%, right? Like this. For this purpose, where we need data with decimal values, so we can add decimal, or else that is not required. Okay. Next, come to the label. So label is not that much useful, because you can type the same variable name here, but the only disadvantage with the variable name is that it cannot take special character or space or anything. Here you can write in detail what does it mean, right? Suppose here you want to keep the variable name short. All right, keep the variable name short. So you can do that, but here you can be confused. What is it? What is discipline? What is course? What is percentage? So here, what you can write in detail: graduation disciplines of the students. That you can write here, labels. Or this label will also appear in the SPSS analysis tables. Like that, you can include labels for your variables, but it is not advisable. You should understand this from the variable name. Then values. In values, the utility of this value is important when you want to convert. Suppose gender here is string, so we have written male and female. So what we need to do, we cannot do any statistical analysis with male and female, because this is a string variable, right? So in order to do statistical analysis, we have to convert the data into numerics, right? So in order to do that, so we must give some code. Suppose male can take the number 1 and female can take the number 2. So in order to know that, we have to use this values. So click on here, this 3 dots here you see, then value. What value you want to give to the data points we have here in the variable gender. So in gender, we saw that we have entered two data points. One can be male, the other can be female. So for male, we want to add the value 1, right? So we'll write the label as male, add here, and 2 we want to give to female, right? So we have to add here. So now SPSS understands that whenever we will do some statistical analysis, 1 refers to male, 2 refers to female. So we'll click here. Okay. All right. So similarly here we can add values. Suppose a course is there, right? So there are 3 courses. So first course is suppose MBA. Add it here. Second course is PGDM. We'll add it here. PGDM. Third course is the Business School offers is MHRM. All right. So we'll add it here and click OK. So now whenever we will convert MBA to 1, PGDM to 2, and MHRM to 3, SPSS will understand which is what. So for that, we will also have to keep a record of prepare a code book, right? Prepare a code book. So this is a code book I have prepared. You also need to prepare a code book, because once you convert the alphanumeric or string variable into numeric variable, you might forget whenever you do analysis after some time, right? Maybe a month. If you are doing analysis, you might forget 1 means what, whether 1 is male or 1 is female. So it is always safe to keep a code book with you in handy. Before you enter data, you can prepare this code book. Gender, 1 means male, 2 means female. Age is actual age in years. Course, 1 PGDM, 2 MBA, 3 MHRM. Right? We have just did little different, so we'll correct that. And the graduation discipline can be science, arts, commerce, engineering, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Current specialization, marketing is 1, business analytics is 3, 2, HR is 3, like this, and others are actual scores. We'll correct those in the SPSS now. We'll delete the other files we are not using. We are just using a file. Correct this. So 1 would be PGDM, 2 would be MBA as per our code book. 2 is MBA. Yes. So as per our code book, we have changed the values. Okay. Next is missing values. So if in our survey, some of the respondents did not attend some of the questions, there would be a missing value, right? So now most students are or most researchers are using online survey forms. So where there is an option that they can make every question mandatory, so there is a very less chance that there would be any missing values. So if there is any missing value, we can deal with that using this missing value here. And this is the column width, right? If you want to write the data in some width, we can adjust the column value. And here is the alignment where you want to see. All these are left aligned, right? So we'll make some values as right aligned or some center aligned. Age is pyramid, age are center aligned. So now I'm going to check age has become center aligned. So these are left aligned, age is center aligned, and percentage is right aligned. Okay, this is the use of alignment. Then come to the section, the column that is measure. This is most important, and before you understand this, you must have some basic understanding of measurements and scaling. So in statistics, we use 4 types of data, or 4 types of scales. They are nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio, right? But SPSS understands only 3 types of data. Okay, 3 types of measure. One can be scale, ordinal, and nominal, right? Nominal, you understand all the name related variables. Gender is a nominal variable, right? Because it is not ordinal. One male got 1, female got 2. It doesn't mean that male are better than female, right? So it is a nominal variable, right? Then age is a ratio variable. So here in SPSS, SPSS understands interval and ratio scales as scale. So we will select scale. Okay. Then course is a string value. So it should be nominal. All string should be nominal. Then CAT score is scale. It's a score. MAT score can be scale. All right. And specialization, again, it's a string value. It should be nominal. GD score, PI score should be scale. All right. So like this, we have to set all the variables, the measures, right? After you understand this measure column, next come to the last column, that is role. So what is role? Role indicates what is the role of this variable in your analysis. So you must be knowing that the variables can be independent and dependent, or at some point of time, some variables can be both. It can be independent, it can be dependent, right? So here you have to specify which variable is what. All right, so just click here, input. So input means SPSS understand inputs are independent variables, targets are dependent variables, and if you are not sure how it will be used, you can select both. It can be independent, it can be dependent. So that depends on you, which role you want to assign to your, right? So a roll number, we are not going to do any analysis with roll number, right? So what we'll do, we'll just assign none. This is not going to be used. Name, we are not going to use name for any of the analysis. So just select none, right? So then both. Mostly if you keep and assign the both to all the variables, it is quite all right. Or if you are very sure that a particular variable is always an independent variable, keep it as input. If you are sure that a particular variable is always a dependent variable, keep it as target. So this is all about the entering data into SPSS. So we have learned how to enter or create a new variable and enter data into it. Once we have entered the data, so we can save. We have to save this file, right? So how can we save? Just this is the button, the floppy disk button, all right? So how we can save? We can save. You can assign some name, right? Student data, right? And by default, the SPSS data files are saved with the extension .sav. So always remember and do not ever confuse. There are two formats of file you would encounter in SPSS while dealing with SPSS. One is SAV, which is the data file, and SPV is the output file. We'll see the output file later. So this is we are going to save the student data as a SAV file. So click on SAV. So I have saved in this folder SPSS video. So click on save. Now go to the folder and check this up. We have just saved this file student data.sav. All right. So this is, we understood how to create a new data file in SPSS and enter data. There are other ways we can deal with data files. The other ways can be, we can export data files already entered into Excel or .csv file or DAT format file or text format files. So in order to do that, what we can do, we can open an SPSS window like this and go to File, then click on New Open. And once you click Open, you can go to Data and click on Data. So it will ask you what kind of file you want to open, right? Suppose it will not show your Excel files and all that. So for that, what you need to do, you need to click on this files of type. So in which format your data file is. So in my case, here we have saved our data file is in Excel format, right? So we will go to this files of type, right? Then we'll select the Excel format here, Excel. So now the student data Excel.xls file is visible. So we will select that and click open. Click open. All right. So it will, this read Excel file window will appear now. So from this, what we understand, it has only one worksheet, that is PZDM underscore data for practice, right? So this has to be checked in always, right? Read the variable names from the first row of the data. In Excel, we don't have a fixed, unchanged row name, right? It is alphabets, right? That cannot be changed. So the first variable names we write like that. I'll show you the Excel file before we export that. This is the Excel file we have created from a survey, right? So the first column is the serial number, second is gender, third is C is age, right? Then course, graduation discipline, specialization, graduation percentage, like this. The same kind of data we have entered in SPSS, right? So the first row is the variable name. So what it is asking for? It is asking for read the variable names from the first row of data. Yes, we want that. And percentage of values that determine data type. So data type is determined on the basis of what data is entered in that particular row. All right. Then you need nothing to do else. Then you can click on OK, and your data file will be imported. Okay, yeah. Why it is not imported? Because we have opened the Excel file. We have to close this Excel file. Yes, that you have to understand and remember. Whenever the Excel file is open, you cannot open that. Export that Excel file. So we have to go again. Click on File, then Open, then Data, and we have to select the data type. Here there are multiple data types, right? This is a SPSS file, Excel, CSV, text, DAT, SAS data files, data file. So many other data files can be selected and exported to SPSS, imported to SPSS. All right. Then click on Excel. Then student data file is visible. We click on this and click on Open. And same, read variable name from the first row of data and percentage of values. The determined data type is 95%. Click on OK. You see the data file has been imported. Data file has been imported, and in this data file we have 200 students data. 200 students data. So what are the data? Like their serial number, their age, the course they are in, then the graduation discipline. See, earlier in the Excel file there was space, so SPSS doesn't understand any space, so it will not add any space. The graduation percentage, right? Then CAT score, like this. Then first year CGPA, and we also did a survey to know the motivation with 5 questions we asked the students, which they responded with a 5-point Likert scale from strongly agree to strongly disagree, right? So these are responses of the students: strongly agree to strongly disagree. Okay, so we also need to save this data file. The process is same, or else you can go to File and click on Save As, then give a name, and so this is untitled 4, and the file type is .sav. Then click Save. This file has been saved. Okay, so that's all for this session. We'll learn more in the next session.